All right, so this is Masterminds 171. I'm not sure if Sean's going to be online. If he doesn't join this session, I don't know what I can share, or I guess maybe I can. I've been researching. Okay, here you go.
Hey,
There's
how's it going?
nothing much. I was trying to figure out what I was going to discuss if you weren't going to join, and then you literally joined 5 seconds into my intro.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry.
No, we're good.
Kids, we don't have kids today, so my wife and I stayed up a little later. I mean, we have kids; they're just being watched by someone else. So getting
Cool,
out of
cool.
bed was tough.
I've been my YouTube feeds are now filled with amateur astronomy videos, and I'm trying my best to wisely make a decision on my first telescope. But the thing is I don't want to outgrow the telescope in like 2 months and
Hmm.
and and waste the money that I spent. I would prefer to buy something that I will be content with for, in theory, like the next 36 months or 3 years. And man, I don't know how to. It's pretty much like spend $700, spend $1,500, or spend like $5,000.
Hmm.
But the $5,000 one might have me overwhelmed, and I'll end up like just shelving it and never using it again because it's too complicated and whatever. That's how I felt when I bought my last motorcycle. I'm like, there's no way I can ride this thing. This thing is a death trap, right? But I kind of forced myself at like 4 or 5 in the morning to go out on residential streets until I was able to tame it. But anyways, yeah, man, this is like a life altering decision. I know it's not that serious, but but because like my living expenses have gone up, uh, and I'm not sure how soon I could drive those expenses down again. I'm kind of price sensitive because I still work as a contractor, and when my contract is terminated, I don't know. I just need to make sure that whatever amount of money that I spend on it isn't a waste, but at the same time, I don't spend money and then immediately throw that money away by replacing it with something better
Hmm.
anytime soon. Have you?
Time to go and live off grid, man. Just not off grid. Get Starlink. Go out in the middle of like a small
Uh,
plot of land that you can buy with cash.
yeah, just give up software development as a
Oh no
job
no
and
no no
just
no.
go into grow ops and just have my telescope and I'll be done. Just in the middle of what state should be demoted? Like South Dakota, right? And just
South
live off
Dakota
the
shouldn't be
land.
demoted. South Dakota's a great state.
You know people that live in South Dakota?
Yeah, my brother lives in South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
So
Do they have any professional sports teams?
no,
They should be
no.
demoted.
Yeah, there's a lot of smaller states that don't have professional teams.
Is there
Half of
even
them
like
do. New
a
England doesn't.
what's the biggest university? Like I they have to have like a
In
college football team, right?
in South Dakota.
Yeah,
The only one I know of is the Jackrabbits, and I think that's
never
South
heard of them.
Dakota State
Okay, they should be
University.
demoted. They should be like Puerto Rico.
But they got
Oh,
they got I mean they got some decent schools out in South Dakota though. So they got the South Dakota School of Mines, or I think it's the School of Mines, which is like a big engineering college. They've got um, Dakota State University is actually huge in like cybersecurity. It's one of the top places you'd probably want to go for like a cybersecurity job.
yeah.
They do like it's one of the feeders into like one of the government cybersecurity things. But I mean, they also have the Black Hills, and they've got uh, um, what's it called, the Mount Rushmore, and they got the biggest motorcycle rally, right? Sturgis.
Sturgis, yeah.
Yeah. So
No, hold up. You didn't say Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
No, I thought that was Wyoming.
No, that's in South Dakota.
Fact check. Hold up.
I guarantee I've seen it. It's in Rapid City, or right outside
Well,
of Rapid City, where my brother lives. They
is it
also have
Wyoming?
Deadwood.
What does Wyoming have? Is it Yellowstone? Why is where's Yellowstone at? Is that Wyoming?
Yellowstone's Wyoming, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's what I'm confusing it with.
Yeah. You should actually, Deadwood is actually supposed to be a really good. Like, I went there for like during the day, but I guess the nightlife type thing. Like, there's casinos, and it's kind of like a. I guess if you have friends, it's kind of a good place to kind of walk around at night.
Hold on, which
So
one? We're talking about Sturgis?
no, Deadwood.
Oh,
It's like this. It's like one of these historical Western towns, but it's like a. I don't want to call it a tourist trap, but it's a tourist trap in the way Vegas is maybe a tourist trap. So
uh,
like, it's got some history, and then casinos and drinking and all that kind of jazz. But
is it like similar to Niagara Falls?
probably, I don't. I haven't. I've seen the falls, but I never went to there as an adult, so I don't know what the nightlife type situation. But I'm assuming it would be. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But anyways, you could get a small plot of land and get Starlink, and then maybe a bunch of solar panels, and just get your like cost down to your living costs down to maybe like health insurance and the small amount of property taxes you have to pay.
I'll get a plantation out there.
Plantation in South Dakota. You're looking at the wrong part of the state there. Yeah, I think South
I'll grow
Dakota's got
tobacco.
more ranch land than it does. I want to say that there's more ranching in South Dakota than there is farming. Although I don't know, maybe in the western, I don't really know what the agricultural scene looks like there. If you want agriculture, it's North Dakota would be probably a better place. Get on the sugar beet, go and start a sugar beet farm. There you go.
We'll have a cotton farm.
Yeah, they don't really grow cotton up here. So,
Yeah, I was googling like expensive hobbies, and I don't think I could afford a horse, especially in South Beach. But
you could up here.
yeah, but I was considering amateur astronomy and going to some star parties and going to some observatories on the weekends. I know it'll be a lifestyle change. I want to bet I'm the only black person that would be there, but I'm used to that. But
Hmm.
anyways, what have you been up to?
Nothing. I've been working. I started to kind of start passively. Well, I want to say actively, just starting to look at different jobs. I think just another. We had sprint planning yesterday, and it's just another sprint of just like not pointless, but like, so it's like, instead of like, how like there's probably like filler work, small bugs, things like that, small stuff that you kind of want to do, just continuous small improvement to things. But it's been just like all that for like weeks. It's like no big rocks, no like, I don't know. I feel like I've been beating the drum now a few times about this, or like sounding like a broken record maybe, but just kind of like,
The
I've gone
grass
from
is
being
always
just
greener.
like, yeah, I've gone from just being like sad about it to being like almost getting angry about it. Just like, what the hell? I just, I don't know. And I don't know how to get around it. So,
Help me deliver beach delivery. Be an entrepreneur.
yeah, Yeah.
Be content with making maybe 70,000 or 80,000 for the first 24 months, and then there's a surge of money coming in, and then no, I honestly think like to either be content, you either like work in work for like a aerospace like SpaceX or Blue Origins or something like that, which that might be a monster all within itself. Um, or like just build your own business. But to build your own business, I think it would be a massive pay cut, right? And you don't even know if that business that you're building is going to even be profitable.
Yeah.
It could
And
just be
then what to
crickets
do
when you go live.
and what to do. Yeah. I think I'd be fine with where I'm at currently if we just had more. I don't know how to describe it. Like if we were working towards a particular vision, maybe like, and we had a goal, but maybe that's what it is. It's just like it's like I don't feel the sense of purpose or like that we're working towards anything.
Here's something that here's something that I see as a challenge with most shops. I've been on enough projects where Scrum doesn't deliver the software within budget and within timeline, right? This is going to be a very emotional rant. Uh, Being a software manager means, I believe, to manage the software development efforts. It does not mean you practice Scrum, right? You manage the software development effort. It does not mean daily stand-ups. It does not mean poker planning. It does not mean it, it doesn't mean most of those activities. It means how can we continuously improve the throughput of our developers? How can we continually reduce the risk of not delivering? And you have to interrogate opportunities for improvement. You have to interrogate not how to address the problem. I mean, you do have to do that, but you have to follow up with, is it conceivable, is it possible that this problem, in theory, didn't have to happen in the first place? And you ask why. You interrogate it. I've been in so many shops where they don't do that. They just follow the manual of Scrum and ask why and consistently ask why they're not delivering on the cadence that they expected to. And that's the part where I get just frustrated because I feel like
Yeah.
what how do people get hired as managers for software development shops? Do those questions not get asked? Like, how do you manage the software development effort? Is the answer really, oh, I use Scrum? Is that
I
really the answer?
facilitate stand-ups
Is that
by
really the answer?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, because there
What is
is
the
no
definition?
software engineering manager in Scrum. There's no role for that. Because you're talking about Scrum Master,
No, no, no,
which
no,
is what
no.
that role they've been taking on,
I'm talking about
right?
middle managers that answer to C-level leadership for delivering features or delivering technical solutions. And the recipe is Scrum. The recipe is not Kaizen, right? Or if I'm butchering the pronunciation, the Japanese term, I believe, for continuous improvement.
Hmm.
Right? That's
Yeah,
it,
no, I agree with
they.
you, and it's
Nothing
expected
is
that they.
engineered. Like this is me still venting. Like it just boggles my mind how these positions are obtained.
Yeah, well, and
Um,
that's the thing is that a completely like open continuous process like improvement process doesn't have great ways to contain and measure it, which is what Scrum wasn't supposed to be, but they like designed it to be this way now. And so now you can like you have like numbers you can put on things, and then you can like report back, oh yeah, here's our metrics and here's our on targets and all of these things. um I don't know, man.
no, I'm still venting. Uh, there's timelines to meet. All right. There's a difference between features and feature enablers, right? I relate feature enablers to architectural like scaffolding
Mhm.
things, the activities that or the coding that is necessary to sustain development of business features long term, right? When I say long term, more than 6 months, right? Can we still maintain a cadence of deploying or shipping features, or is it going to grind to a halt? Does it get more and more complicated to 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 attach additional features? And it's almost always now. Do we have to do this now? Okay, well, if we don't do it now, we're not going to do it. Yeah, but can this be tech debt? If it's tech debt, we're not going to do it. This is architecture related. Architectural decisions are challenging to roll back and revisit, right? Because it's the business features that sit on top of the architectural decisions that we make in the first place. And I just
But that's what tech debt is,
there
though.
has
I
to be a
mean,
better way.
and tech debt is a totally valid strategy. It's like I see the idea behind that, but I get what you're getting at. It's yeah, I don't know, man.
Tech debt for, hey, we're going to rewrite the architecture. No, we're not. It's not going to happen. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Well,
not.
okay, hold on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that if you actually did tech debt the way that you tech debt is described, then then um then it's a valid strategy, right? Debt is gets paid back. It's not like or maybe the president of the company will come in and like just forgive all your tech debt with an executive order. I don't know. Um, but the idea behind tech debt is that you can deliver a feature faster if you do this shitty practice or this crappy thing, and you're going to intentionally do that with the idea that you're going to pay that back later. You're going to defer the actual fixes or rebuild that in a later phase. Now, just because that second step never happens, because
It's not going to
organizations just
happen.
move on. Yeah. Well, that's the
You have to
thing is that
respond to new problems based on the whatever updates that you added. Every incarnation that gets added requires maintenance,
well,
which
there,
new
there was
problems get
one
introduced.
there was one organization I was reading about where their practice is to actually just rewrite from the ground up their 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 software like every so many years or months. Um, and man, wouldn't that be great?
How,
I don't know
yeah,
how they do
but
it, but
and they're able to still satisfy demand for additional features, or do they literally suspend the what customers want and they just
I
rewrite
don't
a
know.
system with.
Maybe they're just big enough.
That's
I,
why I
I don't
say
know
it
which one
it
company I've learned this at, but I think that would be kind of cool. But
that company is probably 0.0001% of all the companies that build software.
yeah, um, but yeah, I get what you're saying though. Yeah, like tech debt rarely ever will get actually prioritized after the fact unless you have very strong technical leadership that makes it the priority and has a
My
stakeholder, like is a
frustration,
stakeholder,
my
like is a
frustration is we
driver.
know what happens. Like my frustration is we have existing projects that have their existing problems. We know what happens when we don't strategically plan how we can sustainably deliver features. We know what happens when we don't do that. And yet we still, it's like gravity. It like pulls us into making the same retarded decisions over and over again. It's like the same loop of we know that there's more maintainable ways of building and delivering, but because of outside pressures, we're going to use the same recipe that is ridden with issues, that is extremely stressful. And even though this is a rewrite, we're still going to use the same. We're going to do it the same way we've been doing it. What is the purpose of a rewrite? So if you could,
Yeah,
if you feel so frustrated, it's because there's a huge disconnect.
yeah, I think yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I think for me, my frustration is more that we don't even have a project that we're working towards. Like, I don't feel like we have an active project. It's not that it's like there's literally no deadlines. We just have just little things to work on. It's not some sort of big effort to clean up a particular tech debt or rebuild a system for maintainability or to do like a big new feature, release something thing, or do a set of features like a quality of life like release on one product, right? There isn't any of that. It's literally like here's this tiny little problem that we got reported once over here. Here's this over here, this little thing. Um, there isn't like a vision. Like I'm not working with a team towards something. It's more like I'm just picking items off of like a I don't know some stupid list at the backlog. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just frustrated with not feeling like we're moving towards something.
I've, I've quit jobs like that a couple times where I'm on a brand new project and they have like this backlog. And they're like, it's got, can you work on this? Can you work on that? And they're just random tasks for a greenfield project. And there's no planning of like the architecture or anything. There's just, hey, write this code. Hey, write that code. But there's no vision of how things assemble together to realize a working platform. And I quit those jobs usually within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I don't know. That's just where I'm at. Like I don't know though, because it's like I like the job, I like the pay, I like everything else about it. If we just had more like strong leadership and vision on where we're going, and was actively working towards it, like that would be a totally different ball game. Because I've been there, right? Like last year we released this replacement product for something, and it's not perfect. There's still a lot of work we could do on it, but like once we released it, it's like all right, it's done, we're moving on to this. And then okay, well, and then this year there was kind of we started with this bigger effort, and we're like, yeah, getting some momentum, we're finally starting to get some tickets going to start development on it. And now it's just like nothing's replaced it. So because we like did some acquisitions and stuff, so the business climate change, which okay, yeah, we can pivot, but what are we pivoting to? Like the development team hasn't pivoted to anything. The product team has pivoted to stuff that we can't even work on. They're not like our products. They're totally different teams. Like every time I have to remind them, it's like, okay, you want this and this. This is this team and this team. That's not us. Like, what do you want for what we do? And there's no answer. So it's like, and like I said, we got 3 product managers, so product owners on one team. So it's like, if you don't do this person's, then you don't do this person's. Or if you do this person's, you don't do this person's and this person's, which means like everyone tries to break up their work, and which means we're never working on anything cohesive ever. It's friggin' frustrating, and I'm
Hmm.
just tired of it. So I don't know.
Oh, I've
My time is
experienced the
probably
same
limited.
thing. Where work is focused on, I've observed that software development is focused on teams instead of focused on the solution
Yeah,
that revolves around what the customer needs. And so it's I, I've been on projects where they'll do a big bang, ta-da, here are your teams. And it's like, oh, hold up. Who, why do we need all these teams for what we're building? And why is all this big bang? Um, we we don't need all these teams for the first 2 months. We need maybe we need one architect and maybe one team, but after 2 months we can probably leverage an additional team, and then after 5 months we can probably pick up another team. Why are we doing 5 teams and we don't have work for 5 teams? Well, yeah, but can we come up with the work? Well, how much time are we going to spend just trying to figure out what the work is that isn't natural, that isn't organic at this point in time? Like now we're spending the budget trying to find work for a team that really doesn't exist. And so, do you sense my frustration?
yeah, yeah.
Which leads me to
Somewhere's out
this.
there, there's a good software firm that will be awesome. No.
Yeah, and I can't pass their interviews. So I, I'm sincerely considering maybe being like a CTO or a VP of of software engineering. I might fail just as miserably as everybody else, right? But I honestly think I'll do well if businesses actually listen to me. And I know that there's pressure, like go, go, go. This has to get done. We'll worry about that later. I don't think I'll do well in that culture. I have to have a culture where like we're going to methodically plan this out, and then we're going to deliver better than how most things get delivered. We're still going to have our issues, right? But we're going to have retrospectives that are not just for developers. They're for everybody involved with this project so we can continuously improve and get better over time at delivering solutions for our customers. Not just for developers, for everybody. Coming to Jesus talk. What is not working? Not just for
Yeah,
developers, but for management. What is not working that we keep repeating? So
yeah,
if it sounds like I'm frustrated, just saying.
yep, yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Because in order to do that, so like you to be a CTO, like you'd have to. I don't know. It'd be pretty rough because you either need to be one, like hit a small enough organization where you can get in at the ground floor and be a CTO. But then with like startups and that kind of thing, it's not going to be something like you don't methodically think out stuff like that generally because you have limited funding, and so you have to act, towards you have to take action continuously. There's no I don't know. I mean, yeah, you need a
I challenge
plan,
that.
but you need a plan, but you're kind of like I don't know, like it does matter if you get a feature out at a certain time or not because that could be the difference between the business going up and down.
Yeah, I challenge that. Right? Uh, are are there certain timelines or seasons where features have to ship based on a season
Yeah,
that the feature is going to be consumed, and if you don't deliver this by this season, right, where such as tax season, then we're going to have to wait another like year until we can realize profit substantially. Like
Hmm.
I think I can understand like those parameters. However, the part that I challenge is uh, a budget versus work. Like there's factors to this. You don't have to again if we think about the paradigm of astronomy or the universe, you don't have to big bang all this fixed cost up front, right? You don't have to have 12 developers when you're kicking off a project. This stuff can be planned out and staged. Development can be staged. The development effort can be staged. The quantity of developers can be staged
Oh
on
yeah,
different.
yeah,
And so that's the part where like if it's about consumption of the budget, again, like the first stage can be architecture work with the architect and maybe a lead developer, right? And that's it, right? And then the second phase is the architectural foundation has been laid for the most part. Now we can bring on the team to start building features, right? And then organically or gradually start bringing in more support as our platform becomes mature enough to enable that support.
yeah.
And I,
No,
I
no.
I don't see that being done anywhere.
Yeah, what I'm was getting at more is that you have to err on the side of good enough um, on
Yes.
stuff. Gold plate like with startups, like you have to err on the side of
Damn
good
Lord.
enough. Like you can't wait for like a perfect thing because you just don't have unlimited budget. So you have to find the first good thing that works, even if it includes a lot of tech debt and stuff like that. Unless you can find a way to make it happen, but then it's a conscious decision and all that. So I don't know, man. It's yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's not a lot of orgs that do all that, and that's maybe why I keep getting frustrated with like the size of organizations that I'm in. Maybe I do need to go to either something bigger, or something a lot smaller.
I wonder if I went to an Ivy League school, if the experiences that I currently face would be different.
Maybe.
Do you think managers from Ivy League schools just operate on a completely different paradigm?
No,
No.
I don't know. I think that if well, it depends. So like if you're doing something like if you're an Ivy League tech like person, you're probably like what top of your class. So you're probably doing something more academic, like you're doing something
Blockchain
machine
developer.
learning, and yeah, you're doing something like you're probably building a very sophisticated software component, and you're doing that in kind of a shell. Like one of the companies I worked for, like they hired PhD type people to do to do one part of their system, which is like here's a model for a product or something. Like you have to like break down and calculate like how best to machine that thing or to build that thing or to construct a mold for that thing and like do all the volume analysis and figure out okay, if we do it like this, that means this part's going to be too thin, so here's something where you might want to fix your design. Like there's a lot of complex geometric analysis that goes on, and that's where you like put your like, but those people that are doing that aren't writing stuff to like, hey, accept a credit card and log
Yeah.
a person in. So I think that that's what they do, or they're more on the like, they are just completely can just drill through work. I've seen people that can just they have the great ideas, they can absorb great ideas, and they can just get work done extraordinarily fast. You know, I don't know. Um,
Gambler says, I always wait for the perfect thing. Therefore, I never write code. Therefore, no bugs. Whoop whoop.
yeah, it's pretty much every ticket. It probably should be is like, do we actually need to write code for this? Like, do we need to do this? Like, because we're just actually as is what I was asking yesterday because I got this ticket and it's like we had some bad email come in like where it had a bracket in it. It's like so it went through the validation library that we got and went and then I checked and it would have gone through Microsoft's backend validation, passed it, been just fine. And I'm like, okay, So we'd have to roll our own validation, like validation, like regex type thing to do this, to get this to be actually stopped. And we've had one report of it in years. And it just shows the fragility of the email processor. Maybe should be more responsive to bad emails, or maybe that component should be more protective. I'm like, why are we even doing this? It's like, why not just let it be? Like, oh, we had one bad email once. Okay. Like,
And what was the
it's
response?
not right code. I don't, well, I gotta respond. That was to, yeah, I wrote that yesterday, and um, I think the response to why we're doing this was kind of like, just keeping up on the support backlog. It's like, well, and I think that's the problem. Like when I first
Works
started,
as designed.
yeah, when I first started, we didn't really have the support tickets, or so we get escalations, right? And we'd have somebody on rotation to handle escalations for like support issues where we need developer, um, insights or whatever. And it used to be that those were distinct from our backlog. Um, and if like during the course of investigation you felt like, okay, this needs to go into this needs is a bug, then you'd write up a bug and do it. Well, now all these support tickets have become like actual like tickets, and they get pointed when we work on it, which is totally stupid because we don't like record our velocity for like we don't record capacity. So velocity is like is stupid. Like I don't know why we point anything. It's just dumb. Like we're not using those numbers for anything. They're totally vanity metrics. And I see all of this stuff and I just get frustrated because like in my mind I know that this shit does not work and we're just wasting time. Like that's what we're doing. Like I there's no reason we have this. Like it sure will look nice to a graph to someone, I'm sure. Like, hey, we've got 44 points this sprint we did. Yay.
Your burnout rate.
Yeah, and we did 44 last week or 48 last time, which means we're lower. Oh, it's like, but are you measuring versus capacity? Are you like, and then because we have kind of like a distinction between the QA and developer people, there is a bottleneck. So that's impossible to see and capture in any real metric. Like you need to do Kanban to capture, you know, that kind of like constraint. I don't know. It's, I just see all the process problems and I can't really suggest or get any, like I can never make a case because people just don't see the world that I see. It's like they want to follow the out of the box shit because it's convenient and nice, and it's just stupid. So
Yeah, this
I
is
don't
the
know.
greatest therapy session I've had in a long
Yeah,
time.
I gotta just I don't know. I just and this happens at every organization I go to. Like
Yeah.
I could see where okay, maybe the ideas I have aren't going to work out, but at least it's like it's cutting the fat because it's like these things are clearly not working, or they have no purpose, or they're just like slowing us down. It's like, hey, if there's an issue with a bottleneck, let's fix the issue. Here's 10 ways to solve that. Pick one. I don't care which one you pick, just pick it. It's like we could have developers test things. We can, you know, like if we have to do that kind of testing, like manual testing, have the developers test it. Have the developers write the
So
automation
here's
script. Work with the automation people. How about that? How about
so,
not tested? Just dev test fine. Like you don't need to test something if it's a link change. Like, hello, it's like it's literally a text line change. You could have another developer double check it. It's like there's a dozen ways to solve these problems, and just nobody like it's so like no, this is the way that we do things. It's,
no critical thinking. No interrogation of
yeah,
why because of this, why because of that. Well,
yeah.
why?
Well, we do
Oh,
five whys on like RCAs and stuff, but um,
what's RCA?
like root
Oh,
cause
root cause
analysis.
analysis.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. It took me a
yeah,
while.
but it's even there I got put it into an RCA and I wasn't even like this like I should have been the person who did the RCA because I didn't do anything to lead up to the problem. The my one contribution was it to that was like, I'm not going to do this other thing because that could cause a problem like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to work on that because it's I don't want to take on that risk right now. So like the only contribution was that I didn't cause it. Like, and so somehow I got doing this RCA, which was like a machine wasn't patched, and like I have no control over that. This isn't like anything that I'm involved in.
Is there anything software development managers can learn from NFL coaches when it comes to managing a team or teams? I'm not into football. I
No,
wouldn't
I
know.
I don't know that, man. I don't know. I'm still trying to put software managers, like, I think
Well,
as like an HR extension, they're kind of like, there's some value there. Um,
do NFL coaches follow Scrum?
well,
Does Bill
rugby's do,
Belichick?
right? No, rugby players do,
Uh,
but
uh,
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure. Well, they analyze games, I suppose, and then they come back with new ideas and
say that one more time.
yeah, yeah, game analysis. Yeah,
They analyze games. They analyze.
yeah,
Right? They review, and then they figure out, okay, what wasn't nominal, and what steps can we do to refine that or improve it.
yeah. And
Oh,
that's the whole point of retro, right? But I've completely
no,
checked
no,
out of retros.
no. Retro, so far, in my experience, everywhere has been developer centric.
Well, yeah,
It
yeah.
needs to go higher.
Well, yeah. There's retros per, perhaps, but let's just say within the bubble of that, I like there's never, almost never actually, um, any sort of like improvements made out of retro. I'd say like people don't want interesting ideas. It's like they don't. It's literally like it's either a therapy session or like a circle jerk. It's what it is. It's like, good job, everyone. Good job. Good job. You did great. You did great. You did. What did we do well? Well, this person did well. This person did well. It's like, and I get that celebration is nice. Um, and I like, it's good to celebrate. But that's not the point. It's like, what did we do better from a process perspective, or like, how did we, like, what's something new that we tried? How did our experiment work out? Like any experiments that we have active, it should be like what Scrum and that whole ceremony should be with retro is like, it's analyzing our previous bets, making new bets, and then um, executing on them for the next sprint. So it's like, I bet if we did this behavior, then what we would do is achieve some better throughput. And you got to try it for at least long enough to actually get the benefit of it, or to notice the change in it, right? And then when you get to the next retro, it's like, okay, we last time we bet that this would happen if we did this practice. How did it actually turn out? Did we think it, like, what's the feel? And you maybe you can't collect actionable metrics on something, but you can get a gut feel, right? Did it help us? So you could be like, hey, what if we don't? What if we just don't review PRs, pull requests, unless somebody wants it? That's a valid experiment you could do. Let's try it. Like, did it, and then you go back and it could be that, oh, we let this bug through, and that could have been caught with PR, probably would have been. Maybe that's not great. Or actually, we everything just went, better. We got things done quicker because we weren't waiting for like a second person to get through this stuff. Um, so actually, maybe we should do this, but maybe we could tweak it like this. And maybe for these kinds of requests, we have to do PRs. But
Sean,
I don't know.
Sean,
Yeah,
have you considered applying to be a software manager?
no, God, no.
You
Management.
say you say God no, but look at how we just spent the last probably 45 minutes.
Yeah, but the thing is I wouldn't get along with like the next layer up because that's the kind of shit they want. It's like
Point
it's
taken.
it's software managers are doing what comes from the above, right? Um, really, what I think as far as my career, where I'd like to go is actually getting more into like product development or the product side of things. Like,
Well, even hold up, even at a director level,
Hmm?
there's a manager
Yeah,
and then there's a director, right? Director
yeah,
is still technical.
yeah.
Where
Well, they're are they like are they? They have technical knowledge, but some directors are not very technical at all, and some directors are complete idiots. So it's they're usually schmoozers or people like who know how to get a lot. I mean, there are very good directors. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like there's no requirement to be a technical person to be a director. Like you probably have to have grown out of the tech field, so you understand some of the underpinnings. But I don't know, man.
change your subject.
Yeah,
Your half marathon or marathon was last weekend.
it was like 2 weeks ago. It was a 26K.
Oh, so we already discussed it.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you
That
done?
was
Is this considered end of season?
that was this one. Uh,
Man, you're starting to look like Mr. T with all those medallions.
yeah, I should just wear them around, just chains on my neck. Yeah. No. Uh, yeah. Actually, I haven't even run even so much as a because I got sick last week and then this week I don't know. I was gonna probably try to run, but my it's weird. I had this weird pain in my arm right here, just in the center point right here
It's the STD.
for the last 2 days. I don't know what the deal was. Today it feels fine, um,
You
but I don't know.
didn't.
I just haven't even run. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. I go to the doctor, they'll tell me that. I'll be like, no, it can't be. Dumb idiot.
I
Try to live some.
I've been more disciplined, so I declare myself a vegetarian for the past 2 weeks. I mean, I eat eggs, boiled eggs.
That's not a vegetarian then.
But that's that. It is. It's just not vegan, right?
Oh wait, you're right. You're right. So if
I
yeah,
mean, to be fair,
I always forget the term. Which one's the one that doesn't do byproduct?
yeah, you're not
Cheese
eating
and
meat. You're
yeah,
not eating meat.
yeah.
I mean, you might be right, but and
You're eating the
I've
offspring of a
been
chicken's period.
I've been running
The off
instead of
shed.
4 days a week, I've been running 5 days a week, and I've been increasing my pull-ups and my dips from 2 times a week to 3 times a week, and so I I think I shed probably at least 5 pounds, but
Hmm.
I'm trying. I'm just always hungry,
You should switch to the
always.
carnivore diet. Try the carnivore diet or the lion diet. Just eat
No,
beef.
I've been on the trucker diet for like probably the last 10 years, which is eating. I mean, I don't eat that
Eating
much fast
gas
food.
station sushi.
I don't eat like Burger King or McDonald's. I might eat that like once a month, but like I will order like 2 boxes of Papa John's and I would smash it like for dinner and for breakfast. And those are both large boxes that are consumed within like 12 hours.
Hmm.
And so I would do that like every other week, in addition to just being the Viking consumer carnivore with other things. And it's like, it wasn't healthy. It's weird because like I'll have like a disciplined like workout routine, but my diet was not helping at all.
Yeah.
I would finish like a 2 mile run, and then I would go to Denny's and like suck down a large Oreo milkshake with a Grand Slam like breakfast. So I just literally like consume like 2,500 calories for breakfast after a 2 mile run of burning like maybe 200 calories.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah. I know
consistently
what you
do
mean.
that.
But I mean, you're technically, it's like you're getting your cardiovascular like health up. It's just you're not like if losing weight's the goal or getting your like cholesterol or triglycerides or whatever the hell down, maybe it's not. But yeah, it's I know you have to consume a lot of vegetables to get up to the weight. I think it'd be easier to be on the carnivore diet though, like just eating
Uh,
meat.
this I literally take a is it called a ball of lettuce? What do you call the little balls of
Head,
lettuce that you buy?
it's a
Literally,
head of lettuce.
I literally walk around my crib and sometimes down the street with a head of lettuce, and I tear off the lettuce and eat it with the
Should
head in
eat
my hand.
cabbage, man. Cabbage is real good too. Cabbage is
I
actually
like
really good for you.
I never ate cabbage like a head of lettuce. It's always like cooked.
Oh, try it raw. I like raw cabbage. It's good. I
I
mean,
like it
well,
raw in general.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
uh,
try it though. I like raw. Well, I mean, in coleslaw, if you like coleslaw texture, it's good.
I love coleslaw. Is that what
Yeah,
coleslaw is?
coleslaw is cabbage. So, well, I mean, and
Okay.
you can get it out cabbage on tacos sometimes. Like fish tacos will be often paired with cabbage. So raw cabbage. So it's I don't know, but it's part of like cabbage is out of the same. I think it's out of the same plant as broccoli comes out of. Technically, like it shares an ancestor with broccoli,
Do
and
plants have DNA? I thought DNA was like a blood thing, right?
they must have a DNA because they like
No,
grow differently. Their
but
cells,
I
isn't
thought
it?
DNA. I thought it was based on blood, like
But isn't
the
it? No,
or is
isn't
DNA
DNA
just based
like
on proteins?
it's cell programming, right? So, and plants have cells. They just don't have they have a different system than us.
Well, there's DNA and there's RNA, right?
RNA is
Let me Google it.
it's like what viruses pick up or whatever, right?
Do do plants? uh, Why is it so hard? Do plants have DNA? My guess is no.
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm hundred
In
percent
plant cells,
agree.
most DNA is located in the nucleus,
Yeah,
although so okay.
yeah. Of course, plants have DNA. Daimler's got it. Yeah, and Gamler, like that whole family of vegetables come from the same ancestor. So like cabbage, Brussels sprouts, like um, what is it? Broccoli, and there's like a dozen other ones. All come from the same root. Kale, I think maybe is part of it. Um,
Mm.
Kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, broccoli.
Well, I mean, I know like your your oranges, your tangerines, like yeah, they're in the same family.
It's the Brassica olaric comes for
Watermelon,
when they
cantaloupe.
selected. They did selection for terminal buds became cabbage. Did for lateral buds became Brussels sprouts. For the stem became kohlrabi. Leaves became kale. Stems and flowers became broccoli, and then selection for flower clusters became cauliflower.
I wonder how many. Man, you ever think about the sacrifice of human beings, of them like eating stuff off the land and realizing that yeah, you're not supposed to eat that plant, and the organs shut down, and the the death trips that they would have from
Yeah,
eating the
there's a movie.
wrong
There's a movie I
mushrooms.
watched once where it was like they'd get the guy like, okay, you're the taster guy. When they would, I can't remember what movie it was, but it was like whenever they'd come across some sort of new thing, it would be like they get the taster guy out, and it'd be this kind of like slave guy. He'd walk out and it'd be like, just like, and then they would just wait.
Hey, you have to wait like 2 hours.
Yeah, did he die? Yeah, like I assume mushrooms are that like. There's a lot of plants that I don't know are probably fine, but yeah, it's weird how like we like learned all of this herbology.
Yeah, someone made the sacrifice.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try the nasty looking mushroom with the things on it, and then they tripped out and they're like, oh, this is our
Well,
spiritual plant now.
the question is how many did they eat to figure out if it was safe or not?
Yeah.
Same thing with berries. I mean, I don't think there's any psychedelic berries, but I know there's berries that will like
Well,
probably
like,
kill you.
and then like, how did weed get discovered or tobacco? Like, they're like, how many things did Indians what I assume it'd be, or Native Americans or whatever. How many things did they,
Indigenous.
indigenous people, how many things did they try smoking, like in a pipe? Like, hey, we found a new plant. Well, can we smoke it? They back it
Well,
up.
it's the same thing with the toad, right? That the
Yeah,
psychedelic thing
nothing.
with the toad. Like
Licking toads.
some indigenous person's like, yo, you see that toad? Yeah. But you know what? You laugh. The
Yeah.
same question you asked about like smoking tobacco or licking a toad. I asked what sick being decided to look at a cow and say, I'm gonna drink that.
The milk.
Yeah, I mean, is
Well,
that
no,
not
it's not.
gross?
No,
It
well, no, because like
today it's not gross, but think about it. Look
we
at a cow with flies swarming all over it and say, you know what? I'm out of the drink from that cow's nipple.
well we drink out of our like mama's nipple or whatever, so it's not too far of a
A cow
stretch.
is not a human being.
Yeah, but like
It's
they got this
it's a
huge
filthy
milk
animal.
sack. I don't know. The well they're not that filthy. Um
Would you
actually, you
drink
know
from
what
a
else would
goat?
be, would I drink from a goat, like directly out of a goat?
Would you drink from a badger?
Badger milk?
Would you
I
drink
don't know.
from a dog? That's my
Yeah.
point. Like it's natural, it's normal for a cow because we've been conditioned that way. But if you saw like uh, a pit bull and you're like, yo, those puppies are drinking from it, I'm gonna drink from it. Like that sounds really weird.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's Guillermo's probably right. Mother died, no mother available. Let's see if this baby can survive on this cow milk. They got a cow. Oh, we can. A lot of cream. And then somebody's like, "Hey, if you whip it, it tastes really good." But I don't know. Actually, you know what else is like weird
That
to me
makes
is
sense, Gambler.
how did lutefisk get created? Like
Explain what lupus is again.
lutefisk is like, so it's this like Norwegian delicacy type thing where I
I thought
think
lupus was a
it's
disease.
no, well, you'll hear it called lutefisk a lot, but lutefisk is, I guess, the more proper pronunciation. But it's
I thought you said lupus
no,
or lupus. I thought that was a
lutefisk,
disease.
and maybe this is just something that's more Midwestern, or not Midwestern, more Minnesotan. Um, Drop a link in the private chat on what it is, but it's basically like, how you spell it anyways. It's dried whitefish, normally cod, but also like burbot, and then they like cure it in lye, and it becomes this gelatinous like thing. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't tried it, but it's kind of a delicacy around here.
You know, my frustration is I don't understand why eggnog is only available during Christmas season. I love
Uh,
eggnog. How come it's not available all year round? No,
Probably just because it's so
I
thick. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a winter drink, but
and that's the reason why it's not available all year round because it's thick.
hey, maybe you should start it. Hey, you know what? That's something, year-round eggnog. Like what is like, I don't know. So it's eggnog is like egg. So how much protein is it? Maybe you could start an eggnog as a protein drink. It's a lot of sugar in it though.
I don't think eggnog is healthy.
It's,
Sugar-free
it's healthy
eggnog.
as anything else. It's got eggnog apparently has, let's see, 12% of your magnesium for a day, and whatever cobalamin is. It's got 31% vitamin D. It's got calcium,
How much
some
sodium? How much
potassium.
sugar does it have?
Sodium's only like 137 milligrams. Sugar, 20 grams though. Although it's only 6% of your total carbs apparently per cup. I don't know. Maybe this is
I drink entire cartons in one serving.
yeah. It's mostly fat is what it is, which is why it tastes probably really good. This is like 11 grams of fat maybe, but there's still more like protein. There's carb. It's weird because there's like, yeah, it's just 20 grams of sugar. Um, but I suppose that's based on the food pyramid or whatever, so you can't really trust what the percentage should be. But dude, yeah, I don't know. Why isn't there like year-round eggnog? Maybe you could be the person who starts the year-round eggnog movement.
I
Like,
wanted to have a bubble tea business in the hood. You don't really bubble tea. You got to have Asians to find a bubble tea shop. Have you had bubble tea?
no, I've seen it and I've been around it, but I haven't never actually ordered it myself.
Oh, yeah, it's the greatest, right? But it's usually only found in Asian areas. And Miami doesn't really have Asian areas.
That's what I
So,
I want I want an Indian food restaurant in my town. I've thought about trying to start one, but I feel like it'd be like this cultural appropriation, and then I'd be like,
no, no. When I go to, this is a rant. I've had issues when I would go to Olive Garden. I would expect Italians to be cooking my stuff, and it's black people. I'm like, what the freak, man? Like, it's the same thing when I go to like PF Chang's, right? I don't know if you're familiar with PF Chang's. It's
yeah,
it's a Chinese
yeah, I know.
restaurant, and it's like I want Chinese people cooking my stuff, and it's like no, it's black people and Mexicans. And I'm like I want like the authentic theme in addition to the food, right? I want the cooks to be of that culture, and it's like
Yeah,
I don't
that's why I
know.
shouldn't start in a Indian food restaurant.
Oh, you can start a soul food
I
restaurant.
just have to I just have to start it as like a commercial entity, like a like instead of PF Chang's. What's like a what would be the Indian version of a PF Chang's if it was all Indian food?
Curry Changs. I don't know.
Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi or something. MH Gandhi. I don't know.
Well, I don't even know who PF Chang is. I would assume that's the founder.
The Krishna Hut. I don't know. Yeah, actually, the one of the Chinese food places in town like used to be really really good, and then I think that they had to hire like they couldn't get any more actual Chinese people over to work it, and so they had to like hire like just trashy white folk to cook. So you'd always see the before you'd always see like this, kind of Asian guy come out with a big bowl and
Yeah.
drop it in and just go back in doing his craft. And then now like then in like the last few months or years, it was like you'd see this kind of like skinny white guy come out and just like drop the bowl of crap, and it just the quality went downhill. That place was closed. It was a staple here for a long time, but I think whatever stopped the ability to get Chinese workers behind the Asian, the Chinese food place was what killed it. So
Humanity
not
would
yeah
be, I don't know, just, you know how we have like African American History Month?
yeah.
And the majority of it is like remembering like the civil rights movement because in theory there weren't many inventions by black people with the exception of the gas mask and hair products. However, if we had Asian History Month, man, I think it would have to be an entire year for everything that they've contributed to humanity.
Do we not have an Asian History Month? There's got to be an
PlayStation,
Asian History Month.
Canon cameras, like I think Canon is Japanese, is
Oh,
it?
see, it extends to Pacific Islander, but yeah,
Sony,
May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
like I can't imagine humanity. I can't imagine modern society without the contributions of Asians at all. I mean, you can say the same thing about white people, but between those two races, Asians and whites, I honestly think that we would still be living in the Stone Age, unfortunately, based
So
based on modernizing and terraforming.
So February is African American Black History Month and American History Month apparently. March is National Women's History Month, Irish American Heritage Month, Greek American Heritage Month, Gender Equality Month, Texas History Month, Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and Ethnic Equality Month. April is Celebrate Diversity Month, National Arab American Heritage Month, Tartan, i.e., Scottish American Heritage Month, Community Service Month, Earth Month, Autism Awareness Month. May is Asian Pacific Heritage Month, Jewish American Heritage Month, South Asian Heritage Month, Haitian Heritage Month, Military Appreciation Month, Indian Heritage Month, Mental Health Month, Personal History Awareness Month, Speech and Hearing Awareness Month. Oh, wait, so
And
June
then
is
hold up. You missed
LGBT
you missed
Pride
one.
Month.
You missed one. Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah, June is.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December are all LGBTYT whatever
Yeah,
month.
then there's Caribbean Heritage and Black Music Month. So June has just Black music has its own month too. So then there's July, French American Heritage Month, Independence Day, I guess. So August is Houston's birthday. So this must be like a um, Houston. I don't know where this is. What I'm looking at. September, National Hispanic Heritage Month, German American Heritage Month, National Guide Dog Month. October, which is what we're in, Family History Month, Italian American Heritage Month, National Family History Month, Filipino American Month, and Polish American Month. Oh, so it's my month a little bit. I'm German too, so actually I'm more German than I'm Polish. November is Native American and Alaskan Native Heritage Month, and then National Native American Heritage Month. So yeah, a lot of heritage months out there.
I don't think I don't think 90% of them are even observed.
Well, I never see like anybody saying like, hey, like anybody at work putting out like the thing on the frickin' like our group site that says like, hey, it's Polish Heritage Month. I didn't even know it was Polish Heritage Month.
That's because
That'd be great.
you guys aren't allowed to have white pride.
Well, this is European nationality. It's not white. It's well, I mean, it is white by the nature that that's where it came from, but it's from it's like country, right?
Yeah,
So it's like Irish too. Like I'm Irish and German and Polish and Norwegian and Swedish.
not allowed to have German pride.
There is a German Pride Month though, or German Heritage Month. See, no, they call it Heritage Months, not Pride Months, because
Yeah.
Pride is different. So, but it's it's Polish Heritage Month. Um, Polish Heritage Month is October. Um,
Now, do you agree with the statement though? Without
actually,
white and Asian contributions throughout history, we would probably still be living in the Stone Age.
with without what? Well, it has nothing to do with. I
Sure, it
don't think
does.
white and Asian. It's the but it's the like environmental and I don't know, like I don't think it has to do with like race specifically. It just happens to
Well,
be
it's
which
not.
race picked that up. You
No, it's
know.
not skin color, but it is the culture that happens to be behind the skin color. Skin
Yeah.
color. Um, yeah. So you think about all the you think about the terraforming of that. You think about how both races pretty much are responsible. I think. I hope this is the ignorant statement and I'm proven wrong, but I believe like Asian culture and white culture are responsible for terraforming this whole planet. Am I wrong?
Um. I guess that. Yeah. Yeah. But it's yeah. I don't want to get. You have to walk on eggshells and all this, right? But I mean, it's not that. I think when you get into like imperialism,
I
that's
mean,
kind of what
I'm
imperialism
black. I
does,
can
right?
say it without like retaliation. For
Yeah.
I can. You probably can't say it, but
But
I mean, you
that's
you
because it's
can.
in
But
like when you get into like imperialist type thing, there are a lot of Asian imperialism out there, right? There was a lot of Asian imperialism. Um, China and Japan have had huge fleets and were able to conquer lots of areas and stuff like that. But um, and so were Europeans, right? They went and conquered a lot of things, but that's just because they advanced in technology faster for whatever reason. I don't know why. You know, that doesn't. It's not a qualitative
I
statement.
know
It's like
why.
it's war probably,
No,
but
I know why.
it's
You,
cold.
you no no you, Did you ever watch the television series When Animals Attack?
No, no, maybe.
Does that
I
sound
sounds
familiar?
familiar. Yeah.
What what's the skin color of the victim the majority of the time?
When animals attack,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's white people. Okay. Um, white. So I think European culture, like white people, they they like to go out on conquest. They like to explore. They like to like set their flag on what most people haven't discovered yet, right? From being on the moon to I don't know, flying in the air. Hence the Wright brothers or whatever their last names were. I think like just within the DNA, right? I'm sure it sounds really ignorant, but I want someone else to explain it to me. Like Caucasian culture, I feel like just like dogs are bred for different things. I honestly think that Caucasian culture, like they're like their instincts, their impulse is to explore and conquest, if that's even a verb. And I think it's contributed to terraforming this planet. Um, I really do. The reason why I brought up like when animals attack and you almost always see white people as the victims is because white people tend, I mean, they're the ones that jump out of planes. They're the ones that usually do things that most people wouldn't do. Most people won't mess with a whale. Most people won't follow a moose. Most people won't jump out of a plane, right? Especially if we're talking about like 50 years ago. But white people, they have they demonstrate their curiosity and they push for it, even if it means risking their lives. And I think the majority of other cultures, they're not willing to do that. And I think that's why you people are
No.
so much more have contributed so much more to modern society based on what you have been willing to die for. I honestly believe that. So
Do you? I wonder if too, like, and again, so like you always have to. And this is totally just philosophizing. It's like I wonder if so if you took where the cradle of civilization is, right, eh,
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia. I wonder if it's the farther you get away from that, like you had to have like an evolutionary, um, like like you think about it, like to get out of and to be a stranger in foreign lands, kind of a thing, and to move out and whatever. Like you had to have like you had to have some sort of like creative or not creative, like some sort of exploratory gene, right, or some sort of like inclination to be an explorer or to leave, right? Although it doesn't, that wouldn't, I don't know, because it's like if you get to the bottom of Africa, like you would assume that you'd find the same kind of like setup. Like if it was literally like the further away from you got from civilization, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like
The what I think about with what you're saying is the migration of
of peoples,
Asians to the Americas, right?
yeah.
I don't know what the correct term is,
But yeah, it would
but
make it would make the Native Americans or the most in ingenious people, I suppose, or the most exploratory, but they weren't, I suppose. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, if the premise is if everybody, I'm not sure how true it is. I don't know, but the common belief right now is we all descended from Africa, right? That's a common belief with emphasis on common. The question is like, how long did it take for race to be distinguished or skin color to be distinguished, right? Um, and I don't know, like you look at someone really really black and you look at someone really really white, and you're like, man, how long did it take for evolution to like make that happen?
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it is like
Or did it really just
nuts.
start from a common ground where someone was tan and then over time they lightened up and they darkened down?
Yeah, well, you look even like the difference between like so you're like what 6
7.
foot 7, right, or whatever, and then look at like these. There's these Filipino islands, I think, or like there's the islands where you have pygmy people who are literally like 2 or 3 feet tall or something like that, and they're an offshoot of of Homo sapien or whatever. I can't remember what it was. Like there's like these branches of biological trees of uh, apes
Yeah,
or whatever. So man, it's just yeah. I know we're over time. It's just it
you have
boggles my mind that
Neanderthals. I don't know if hominoid is. I don't know what a hominoid is, but you have Neanderthals
humanoids.
and you have
Yeah,
humans.
yeah, but there were other ones too, like uh, I can't remember what the heck. Not pygmy. Is it pygmy? Like they're
No, I thought pygmy was a tribe.
yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. There's like a type of people that live in like certain island nations that were like really
A
really like
smaller.
tiny people.
Yeah, but they found the same thing with dinosaurs, right? Or supposedly they found dinosaur fossils of the same species that are considerably smaller than in the mainland. I have a hard time understanding why an island would be the differentiator. I mean, food is food is food, right? Your organs don't care about the size of an island.
Yeah, branching of the human tree. Because I know that like Neanderthals are thought of as being like our dominant predecessor, but there is, I guess, a whole other branches or something like that. Which is probably explains why like how different are Asian people from white people. Like we're totally distinct in our looks almost.
Unless you go to Kazakhstan, but yeah,
Yeah, Kazakhstan.
is it
Well,
is that
yeah,
how
yeah,
you
you get
pronounce
that.
it?
I think it's Kazakhstan, right? Cat Kazakh, the Kazakhs.
Uh, Skin color change is probably genetically a tiny difference, more or less a gene regulating the melatonin production. There's a name for the thing where species are smaller on island, but I don't remember the name. What school did Gambler go to? He sounds pretty smart. And who was it Gambler or was it somebody else that when we were talking about religion, they didn't like you? Do
I
you
think it
remember
was.
like a couple
I think it
years
was.
ago
Yeah,
they were venting in the chat, Sean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was Gambler. Oh, so it's Homo
Was it
flores,
Gambler?
the Flores man. They're like these. They're called like Hobbit people,
Uh,
I guess, because they're just like a lot smaller. Genus is Homo, and species is H. flora. Oh,
this was like a couple years ago. Maybe it wasn't you, because I think I had two people that regularly subscribed. I can't remember the other name though. But then again, it could have been you because Gambler is just one of your internet handles. Your other what's your other internet handle? Ah,
Gamlor and gosh, what was it?
uh,
There's if you look at the Wikipedia page for the Homo genus, there is like you can see the different ones. So there's like Neanderthals are a
no, that's
branch
not
of
it. It's not Gambler Heart. I can't remember the. Yeah, it must have been somebody else then. Were you saying
Gamler.
you
Yeah.
sent me a private chat? Homo. Why you have me clicking on homo?
Look at the graph, the phylogeny. I don't know how to actually pronounce that word, but the graph of like things. So Homo sapiens are cousins of Neanderthals within the same line, but those like if you look at so we all extend from was it Homo erectus, but there are like other branches there, the Homo habilis, Homo erudifinus,
Where's
whatever
human
this
at?
is, and then Homo sapiens at the very bottom of the
Yeah, where's human?
that is Homo sapien.
Human and Homo sapien are synonyms?
Yeah, we're that's what we are, is we're Homo sapiens, right? We all extend
Well, how
from
come we're not called Homo sapiens then? Why do we? That's my question. Is human and Homo sapien are those synonyms, or do they have different meanings that
Homo
apply towards the
sapiens, like
same entity?
the scientific classification of what we are.
Okay.
Kind of like dogs are what, canine something.
So chimps are Homo sapiens then, or no?
No,
Like we're all great apes, right? Chimps, gorillas, humans. We're all great apes. But are humans the only Homo sapiens?
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't where yeah. So there's Hamadea line or whatever. So that goes up way, like there's another whole branch. If you look at that section of that thing, there's a whole branch, and you get up into gorillas and chimpanzees up in that branch. And but we're on a different branch called the Australopithecines or whatever. So there's
There's
yeah, it's
African Homo erectus. There's the Asian Homo erectus.
yeah, there's gibbons. See, we're
Erectus.
actually like
These
yeah,
are all. These look all like the same skulls. These skulls are. Yeah, it is the same skull.
they're different skulls.
No, I don't think so. They all have the same markings on them. Hold up. On the left brow, there is a like a crescent on top of the left brow. Let me see if it's in the other one.
I don't know what you're looking at,
Crescent on the
but
left brow for that one too. Crescent. These are the same skulls in the images. I'm hovering on the links and looking at the images. And there's a skull on the table with orange cloth. It's the same skull for all three erectus: African Homo erectus, Asian Homo erectus, and H. erectus si.
oh yeah, African erectus. Yeah, theirs must be a little bit of difference to it.
Do you have
Anyways,
any,
it's
you have
really
any plans
interesting.
this weekend before we part ways? No.
Um, Probably some Halloween stuff that I've got to do, and then I don't really know. Maybe
No.
I'll get my resume cleaned up.
Oh, you know what? My job's hiring. They're looking for a senior. They're looking for a senior. I'm logging into my work machine,
Yeah.
which calls my phone.
Oh, send you a code.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I got to
I have
run. I
to.
got.
Yeah. Hey, send me your resume. My job's hiring.
All right. See ya.
Yeah. See ya. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya. Gambler. We'll catch up. Adios.